Welcome back to the Analytical Couch. We've run such a tight ship here admin-wise as the games are going by quickly and fast. So fast so that my couch abandoned me and I quickly turned to these wonderful patrons that have bailed me out. Obviously, I've got BeaVerN as from Legend fame. I see from the tag it is Deli. I don't know who you are, so I'm just going to... All right, okay. So I'm just going to wing it as we go along. BeaVerN, welcome to the couch. It's going to be MANDEM versus minoin Samurai. I'm going to call it the MAC team because I hate saying that name. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, how are your best of ones going so far in your LAN?
Well, it's going as we expected. So we won 2 and we lost 2.
Good, good. You didn't cross any of these teams that we're going to be seeing at all. You weren't playing against MANDEM or... Okay, just checking in now. Moving on, Deli. Deli, obviously, you're a spectator and staff at our LAN. You know, you're not really playing the games. You're watching the games and you help us out where we can. How have the games been watching from the spectator side? Have you been enjoying the games? Good day one so far?
You could say so, although I didn't catch many of them yet, but they're looking all right so far.
Magical, magical. Well, I'm not going to steal your guys' time for long because you're just my device to show these teams. We've got MANDEM here. Yes, that is still the roster from 30 seconds ago as they were playing against White Lotus, and they're still be playing now. Bring up the next team, production. And there we got minoin Samurai. Look, we've actually got some lovely pictures of them. Apparently Flick is being carried and he's playing 4 different positions, but yes, it's all wonderful gamers here. BeaVerN, give the mic back to BeaVerN. Actually, no, you're right. For one, let's pass the mic over to the end of the couch. I don't actually know your name, so it was hard to throw anything over. What's your name? Hi, welcome.
Vermilion. Vermilion.
Vermilion, hi. Have you been watching the games? Have you been keeping up? How...
Kinda, yeah.
Kind of, okay.
Not much, actually, just running around,
nah,
keeping company.
I'm not going to steal much of your time. I just want a prediction as to the 2 teams we popped on the screen for like 2.5 seconds. Who do you think's going to win?
Flick.
Flick. Flick is going to win. She actually knows the most out of everybody on the sofa. Yes! Okay, Deli, if I get a prediction from you, who do you think's going to win out of these 2 squads?
One could wish it would be Flick, but I don't think so.
Incorrect. Okay. And then... BeaVerN, who do you think is going to win out of these 2 squads as we quickly flick over all of these bands?
Yeah, well, I got to say MANDEM. I got to stay behind my boy, Balder. And also, they got Fancy here now.
All right. Fantastic job, emergency couch team. Well done, well done. Hey, all right. Woo! Okay, so we've seen the map picks and bans. We've seen, obviously, our predictions. Now let's see some casters. Take it away.
It's just that easy. It's just that simple, and we're right back into it. MANDEM coming off a probably a little frustrating tie game, one that they could have easily won had they just been locked in for a few more minutes than they were. Oh well, new chances. Probably a team they're going to have an easier time against, even though still a formidable foe and probably the only other team that even is going to put up a decent fight in their group. It is Mac's Minion project.
Yeah, avoid saying the name. I respect that. Yeah, I mean, they struggled with the pressure that American teams really supply, and kind of coming up against someone they're a little bit more comfortable against. I do agree. I think they'll have a much better performance here, and I think that Mac's team is definitely on the back foot right now, especially as Mac getting pressured almost immediately by Ryan here. Sure, he goes down, but look at the space that they managed to pick up.
They got a lot of space with it, but they do lose 2. Mainly, they lose Fancy as well, which means the tail end of this mid-fight actually flips very, very quickly, and suddenly looks like it's going to be the Minions. Well, taking that first little mid-fight, I've just realized the names are swapped at the top. I'm sure production's going to figure that out in a second. Anyway, they're going to keep going into second because they still know Demo to worry about. Fancy's just now spawning it. There's a lot of second pressure they can easily put onto this as well. Matter of fact, this might just be a soldier getting caught. Nah, they actually trade out Zoe, and they do find Hans as well. Looks like there's a lot of dangerous positions for these combo members here, and they still have an Uber on the side of June, so Fancy might just get caught again. Not quite. Flick isn't quite hitting the shots, unfortunately. Fancy will live. Flick, though, living as well. Okay, finally dies eventually, but still, look at the space they have. Look at how much they got out of it. Sure, they don't have an Uber now, and they will have to back off. Matter of fact, Mac might just get caught. No, not quite, but coming out swinging, the minions, and they might just want to fight this on second as well. If they can get that Uber out of the equation, they have a good fighting chance. There's a lot of grounds they can kite with here. See, Bloke Bomb goes around Sylvs, does find a frag onto Zoe, does eventually get cut off though, but not before doing a little bit of damage. And it looks like they might have just bought enough time to get themselves an Uber soon-ish. It might have to give up mid as well, but it's not a complete disaster for the minions so far.
Yeah, I mean, picking up that demo is obviously really key here on Gullywash, and Minion Samurai did really manage to make that push happen. But as you kind of said, I mean, Flick just not hitting those shots needs to go to the aim trainer of their choice to make up for that one, unfortunately. And Fancy lives, June helps them stay alive, and MANDEM are immediately looking for a chance to push right on back. This is a team who know what their routes are and are absolutely looking to push for them. You need to be very careful about these stickies here. I think Ryan is a dead man. Doesn't get deaded on. Those sticks are still there. Wonder if he saw them. He sees them now! And so does Fancy, who unfortunately goes down.
Patience.
And MANDEM lose everything they need.
Patience is key. That's why Mac is going samurai mode. He knows exactly what has to be done there. Just be patient, wait it out. There you go. You get another frag onto Zoe as well, and that's another mid fight. Well, rather mid point. Taken back for the Mac side of the team here, and they didn't have to use the Uber on the side of MANDEM, crucially. So have to try and get the second somehow. Now Fancy trying to do the same thing here, maybe hold down Big Door, but unfortunately doesn't have a sticky trap, and Sylvs is on a journey. He's on a journey of self-discovery into the enemy lobby, and last, I don't think anybody knows he's behind. He might just cut off the scout. Nope, he's been spotted now. Unfortunately, this Rocket a bit ambitious, but wins against Zoe anyway. Just another bit of ground they have, and with SNH behind as well. They are really going for this two-pronged attack here onto MANDEM, trying to maybe divert their attention enough so that the combo has some leverage as they rotate around to choke. Maybe go for the exchange as the Uber comes through for the side of minions. Obviously, it's a lot better for the side of MANDEM, but they're also scattered more. They don't really have players in the same place, and the flank is still causing havoc. There you go. Sylvs wins again against Hans this time around. This man's on fire.
Yeah, really nicely done by Minion Samurai there, understanding their outs in this one, and honestly, a really textbook set of plays. Bloke is going to make it out here, going to get that arrow, but players pushing out from water here. Really aggressive from MANDEM, but I love to see them changing it up. Player, however, is running through to last, does get dissuaded, I believe, and even get caught here as Bloke goes down. MANDEM understanding their routes, but SNH drops onto Fancy, who gets picked off. 19 HP and trades out, but who cares, right? You just killed the demo. This is go time.
Scout for demo is one of the best trades you can possibly make. The only one that would be better is for the medic, which Flick was just attempting there, but Ryan going down to an arrow is obviously pretty nice as well. And MANDEM are kind of scattered here. They have to try and hold this somehow. They are going to have an Uber sooner than Eon's going to have his. Only slightly, but Hans goes down again as well, and it's not looking solid for the Zol. Left's already on the point. Nice little bump there onto June. Does he get the rocket to get the force out? He does indeed, and things are not looking good for MANDEM. They really have to make this stick somehow. Maybe get the force out of Eon, but Eon's in no harm whatsoever, and this is going to be a last hold for the ages if they manage to somehow hold it, because this is an Uber coming in straight away.
Yeah, Uber comes in immediately, Flick goes down into this point, and well, just wants to continue putting that pressure on, kills a soldier, kills a demo, and with the backup as well, yeah, they lose a couple of players, but Sylvs will clear that up. Bloke is going to jump on in, the Heavy is trying to tank away, but it will eventually fall. Can the Scout keep it? No way, no how! As Minion Samurai scatter MANDEM to the 4 wins in this first round.
Are they going to be the best team in this group?
Oh god,
is
that's
that
terrifying. Do not say that.
Is that the story we're going with? Mac teams get a huge LAN buff. They didn't do that well online this season, but suddenly this team is turning up for LAN, and if they continue this, to be fair, we're just getting ahead of ourselves because it's funny.
Yeah.
But imagine they just stick this out for 25 more minutes and win 1-0 over MANDEM and then beat Lotus somehow, and they're actually top seed of their group. What an upset that would be.
That would be a Titanic moment, I think, for the MANDEM roster. I think that we'd be like the violins on the sinking ship, man. Mac is in position already. A lot of pressure coming in from Ryan. And a good start for MANDEM. Let's see if they can turn this into something more.
Now they find Leth immediately, and Hans is on the drop-down flank as well. Beautiful! Direct nail to the combo. Does get the frag onto Eon as well. Will not get away with anything more. Actually, does trade it for Sylvs, never mind. So that's pretty good, actually. They get a beautiful mid out of it. There's no positions at all for these minion players to do anything more. SNH just struggling to live. Mac obviously got cleaned up for being overextended, and MANDEM are finding a quick response to this. They're not letting that one stick. SNH still in this, still in behind, being a bit of a nuisance, but crucially, he is just being kind of cut off, and the faster MANDEM moves, the less they have to worry about him, so just keep it going. You don't have an Uber to worry about at all. SNH, if you can't get close, matter of fact, you just have a Scout kind of pepper him a little bit, and there you go. This is the last push waiting to happen.
Yeah, indeed it is. They're going to push in Not going to have to use the Uber until the latter part of this to get rid of the sentry. They're going to immediately push in and lock off this right-hand side as they put players into water.
Is it going to be enough, though? They didn't get any cap time before the Uber fades. Mac gets taken out. That's crucial for this Gullywash punt. You really have to get that damn out of the equation. Now that Heavy is the next big thing to worry about. Eon's going to have an Uber soon, though, and June died, so you have no staying power for the side of MANDEM here. Ryan trying his damnedest to get onto that point somehow. Can't find any more leverage, though. A frag onto SNH is all he had. To be fair, only a couple players on the other side. Ryan's still in this, but it's just not enough. They do just about hold it for the side of Minions. Crucially, Eon does go down. So there's no Uber to worry about from MANDEM. They're actually going to have a bit of an ad, as June spawns sooner. It's going to have like maybe 20% on him, but still, it's not a successful last push just yet, and they might have to worry about a bit of second pressure as well. I don't think the Minions are going to be too keen on pushing out, but you got to watch out for a struggling soldier, and Eon is on the Kritzkrieg as well. Very interesting. The heavy laser beams, perhaps, after an Uber push could be quite disastrous here if MANDEM are not prepared for it.
Yeah, Flick's over on the Pyro as well, wanting to keep that sentry alive as possible, and then likely going to go for a swap as soon as, well, it is no longer sensible to be playing that. So love the fact that Kekiminian Samurai have locked into just making sure this last hold happens. There's 2.5 minutes on the clock, a lot of time to work with. Fancy already takes that sentry off. They're going to be able to kill the demo immediately, and this time they don't lose anything well, except for Ryan, and that heavy is gone, mate. Just not happening. The, well, medic tries to stop the cat, but it's just not there.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I don't think you can blame him for that. A nice attempt was made by the Minions, but it is going to be 1-0, 8 minutes in, and MANDEM are, they struggled a bit, they stumbled a little bit, maybe tripped over a little pebble in the first round, but they're looking back in the driver's seat for now, and if that momentum continues, they might as well just be looking at another opportunity to actually prove that they aren't washed up and that they do have a chance to compete at this LAN. Because
it was one final, man. You can't do this to
losing to Mac would be like a disastrous, probably more disastrous blow than the online finals. Anyway, new mid fight, new me. Nice little sticky damage there onto the scout. Beautifully done. As Left goes for the drop down blow flank, as they like to call it, with Sills going down. June on very low health as well, but lives for now. No pressure onto that medic just yet. Getting cut off a little bit, but will live as Mac tries his damnedest. And with just the positioning they have here, the Minions actually win the mid fight off the back of that. Ryan eventually gets cleaned up as well. And they just have to worry about the fact that maybe there's going to be a bit of counter aggression. Nah, Left's already on the flank as well. They know he's up there though. They're just holding in a lobby. And they're trying to make sure nothing slips past them at this stage. But the Minions won mid. They're going to be onto the second, and they're going to have a bit of an Uber ad as well. June wasn't really building as much with nobody to heal for a little bit, so that's very fair. Yeah, they probably don't, let's be honest, but they might just fancy themselves a chance anyway to get in a little bit of pressure through this riverside. Certainly a switch up maybe if they so desire, but no, they're taking it slow, taking it methodical, maybe letting them build a sentry, sure, on the defensive side, but it worked well for them first time around, so maybe they'll make it happen again. And with both of the flank players already below the point here as well, they're going for some sort of point pressure play, I can feel like.
Important distinction here is that all players are up for MANDEM, and there's the Uber. SNH already there, playing a little bit with his food. Matt goes down, and well, with Bloke falling as well, this push is just kind of gutted. And speaking of gutted, so is Eon, as now he's serving time for that one. Nicely done by MANDEM. They have a lot of players alive. They can swap off. They can push out as soon as these soldiers are up, and with no Uber available for Kekiminian Samurai, they're going to have to be very careful.
Hans works his magic. Eon completely caught off guard, not expecting that soldier in his face immediately, and that turns the tides for MANDEM here, gets them onto that second, probably fairly easily, maybe even onto the enemy second at this stage. It's going to depend on how well the Minions hold this off. SNH, a very dangerous force on that sniper rifle. He's picking it up now out of the forward spawn, and just a shot onto anything here. Doesn't quite get the scout, unfortunately, but they now know, and they might just be, they're going to be careful trying to get out of that big door. Fancy trying to create some space and choke, and it looks like MANDEM are just going to rotate, going to take it slow. Perhaps getting slowed down enough here that the Ubers might actually just equalize in time, and if SNH commits to the sniper, he could just, well, peek somewhere else, perhaps. I don't know how they're going to play this. Maybe he's just going to keep chilling down there in that door. I guess he's perfectly content just looking at big door. He's doing his best Drac impression, I guess.
Certainly is.
That's a deep cut. For a lot of new gens probably don't even know who that is.
I actually don't. I was just laughing because I was like, haha, he made a joke. No, I have no idea, but I love the fact that he's going on the sniper. I like the fact that Kekiminian Samurai are willing to play around with this a little bit and putting SNH on it. I'm certainly excited to see. Maybe less excited with every missed shot, but
It is what it is.
We'll give him a little bit more time.
The best stews aren't made instantaneously. You gotta let him cook a little bit, and there it is. Fancy's taken down out of the equation, but in the meantime, MANDEM has just gone all the way around to mid, and putting a little bit of pressure on it. Zoe gets taken down, Boulder's just in the depths of the combo. Big damage, and it's enough to get a lot of cap down mid here, but there's a backup ×2 as well. They just about edge it out in time, and with Mac overextended, SNH taken down, Eon left alone, having to force his Uber, and might just be cut off. He's got nobody to heal at all, and they'll eventually meet up with a player, but Ryan doing his best here to just cut that medic off for the longest time possible.
Yeah, really nice there from Boulder. Love the fact that he was keeping up the old British tradition of Canto by being like, he's behind you, and catches them off in the mid. Immediately gets that push into second, and a really nice way to play with that pressure. The Uber being used as well, I think, by Aeon is so key here, because MANDEM now have this period of time where they could just go for it. Fancy's already looking at what he presumes will be his in just a second, as MANDEM are getting ready for this push.
He's looking at the realms he will conquer in mere minutes as they Uber in through River. Send a couple of players lower. Lots of damage here onto the spawn side, but Fancy can't quite find the leverage he wants. So that Pyro doing a lot to deny him, and they actually only find a couple of players so far with Flick and Mac down. Eventually Loke as well, though, and there you go. Just pressure the point enough, get people on it, and then kill them as they jump on. And there you go. MANDEM up 2-1, 17 minutes left, so plenty of time for the minions to find their way back into this. And they did go up pretty quickly at the start, so they're definitely capable of beating MANDEM. We'll see if they can continue.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, right, because you look at this Pyro, and it's really helpful for stuffing the Uber a little bit longer, but what they did with that time wasn't very big. They lost a couple of players on the other side, and they still lost control of the right-hand side. The sentry still went down, and you still saw the right-hand side completely locked out. So still the Uber achieved what it needed to, you got players through, and now it kind of struggled. A couple of good picks coming through on either side, as with Boulder down, the head of MANDEM is going to struggle.
Yeah, but they are cutting off a lot of the other sides, a lot of limbs being cut for the side of the minions here. And it is going to be a full wipe out of them. With June living as well, this is looking like it might just be another round for the side of MANDEM if they so desire. And I don't know why the team names have swapped again at the top. I think that's just a funny button press that's happened sometimes. Anyway, yeah, man, they're gonna have to hold us again. It's not looking all that hot, you know. It's looking a bit dicey for the minions. They are struggling to get any leverage here. That being said, at least they have plenty of time to set up for this last hold this time around. They're not going to be caught off guard immediately. It's going to be how they play against this MANDEM push. It might just be the same one again. They're looking at this lobby side. They're looking at this shutter, perhaps, or maybe the balcony. They've been doing that a lot. I guess we'll see. Oh, there you go.
They could have this with the post plant. They don't manage to keep that sentry alive for very long, but hopefully they can keep the point a little bit safer this time. The crits is going to be here in just a second. They do pop it, looking for a chance here. Boulder goes down as SNH Flick all move out to try and capture a couple of these other players, but those soldiers are finding no such thing, and the crits runs out. Flick is moving forward slowly, but their team has to be so wary here because it's going to just be another Uber coming through from MANDEM in just a short period of time.
Yeah, and they're not chasing aggressively to try and get anything out of this. I mean, it's fair. You can't blame them, but they are going to get the second at the very least, and that buys them a bit of time to work with. And we're into a pause right here. That's interesting. So it's probably not a tactical one at the end of a round or a loss. Probably somebody crashing once more. Again, Boulder is in the server, so that tells me it might just be him again, but I guess we'll see how they what they decide to do here, right? I think this is a classic situation of how are minions going to hold off this Uber push for MANDEM, right? Sure, they have the crits, and they're going to build it faster, and if they somehow sneak in a sticky onto something, maybe. But realistically, they're just going to have to back off again, I think. I think MANDEM are going to get their spawners up, they're going to go in, and then it's another last hold. With now crits against Uber, I don't know. It's going to be tough.
I will say, there is a short period of time. Now, I do not believe that Keck Minion Samurai are the goated, coordinated team that they need to be, I think, to pull off this crits Uber ride. But if they do, damn, like, I think MANDEM have got to be careful. Now, I think the interesting result that we get from that kind of being a possibility is that I think MANDEM generally are quite a careful team. They like to back off. They don't like to take risks. They don't like to take these opportunities. And I wouldn't be shocked to see them just walk back, give a little bit of extra space, and not really take that risk.
Yeah, I think they're going to be very careful. Apparently it's headset issues. That is why we are paused. I mean, I've heard about people having those as well, all LAN, so it happens. What can you do? It's just a small technical thing. But, you know, like, we differentiate between technical and tactical pauses. And I think usually you're not supposed to really discuss tactics or whatever during a technical pause. But you know teams are still talking about what
You
they're
should
going
get
to do,
someone to
right?
go behind Boulder and just put hands over his mouth, like shh.
Everybody gets muted automatically. Their headsets get disconnected. But you know they're like probably talking this over. Like MANDEM are like, okay, they're gonna crits. Like they're probably aware of the risks that follow them here. And then minions, you know, they're very keen. They're very keen to find some leverage here with this. They're probably drafting up all the possible battle plans on how they could approach this middle point with these MANDEM players, waiting to be, well, maybe crucially Mac stickied. Unfortunately, it is Mac who's going to be getting these crits. He doesn't have the best track record.
I mean, he had a really nice trap. He didn't have to aim anything there. He just put all the stickies up.
That's true.
And he had the patience. You know, he was sitting there, was like,
He's very patient.
"You were already dead. You just haven't caught up yet."
He is very patient, but patience doesn't really cut it when you're
It's true. It doesn't like to hit anything.
trying to thread a needle a little bit. So I guess we'll have to see. Look, maybe I'm just stretch talking him for no reason. Maybe he's in, 60 seconds time when they have their crits ready. He's gonna hit the fattest crit sticky you've ever seen in your life. He's going to kill 4 people with 1 crit sticky. He's going to not only win the round for his team, he's going to mentally scar MANDEM for the rest of the weekend.
That would be aura, to be fair. If you get a 4K with a crit sticky on LAN, I think you're allowed to put that in like every like reel you make, or like frag movie that you make from then on. Even if it's like 10 years down the road, I did this once. That was kind of awesome, huh?
I think you put that on your CV.
Yeah.
When you're trying to apply for a job somewhere, you can be like, I got a 4 crit sticky on LAN once.
Didn't know you were chill like that. We should hire you right away.
I feel like that's a very good advice, by the way. If you're ever trying to get into a job, I think your TF2 experience is going to be very crucial for landing you.
They kind of, you joke, but I remember, like, I was coming out of uni, my friends were, like, interviewing, and people were, like, interested about the fact that they were, like, part of an esports team, and, like, not esports team, you guys can't see it, but I'm doing air quotes. Obviously, it was, like, a university team, but, like, that experience of managing people, it was, like, kind of rubbish, you know how it is, working in a team. I don't know if you guys, I mean, there's a lot of you have obviously played the league, and you're, like, managing a team. I mean, it's difficult, but also it's, like, managing is a very strong word sometimes. It's like herding bloody cats.
You're just pinging people in the Discord server
like,
once a week.
Please fill out your availability. I will cry.
Oh well. So this is quite the headset issue, huh? I wonder if they're like swapping out completely or something.
That would be easy. You just plug and bloody play.
They are swapping it out. Second one's being tested. I mean, look, that's quite the time they have to maybe cool down as well. Like obviously MANDEM coming off of a frustrating tie. Maybe they're obviously winning right now, but maybe they get a little bit more time to cool off now. They didn't really have a lot of downtime between the White Lotus match and this one. So getting this opportunity to maybe just cool off a little bit more, get your nerves straight again. Yeah, you tied against White Lotus, but they are a formidable team. Yeah. I don't think anybody would be expecting otherwise. So I guess it's an opportunity to really stabilize yourself and realize that, hey, we shouldn't be losing to the minions at all. We shouldn't even be dropping around to them. We're MANDEM. We're the best in Europe. Apart from Witness, who don't even play seasons anymore.
There's always that writer, apart from Witness.
Apart from Witness, but like they don't count because they don't even play seasons. The only team that matters is the one that wins Prem, which, fuck, they didn't either.
It's not like the MANDEM hashtag fraud watch is really in full force right now. And I think it's kind of unfair. I think that the rumors of their death have been, greatly exaggerated. This still is a very good team. Let's not get it twisted. But they are an emotional one, and certainly losing out in some of these ways definitely can hit them hard. I think they expect a lot of themselves, and I get that, right? Because they've got some very talented players. They've got some really great coordination going on. But, delivering on the big stage is hard, especially when you're playing, well, with the big boys. Like we were saying with White Lotus, with an absolutely star-studded who's who of American TF2, right? Only missing a couple of players who we won't name because they didn't come angry.
They dodged.
But
they fear.
And again, against teams like Witness. But against teams like this, they are expected to win. If they can reset themselves, as they can recenter themselves, I think it's really a matter of course, I feel like.
It's also funny that you mentioned the stage, because for now, they're all still playing in their cozy little like cubicle desk areas. But I think starting at the very latest Sunday, but maybe even tomorrow, we're going to have a stage here at poLAND. And it's going to be in the corner for anybody that's currently sitting in the viewing area. Yeah, you're going to have to make some space at some point, but there's going to be a bit of a stage area there, and the big playoffs games are going to be played on that stage. So for some players, that might give them a buff. Some players might feast on that energy, but some players might crack under that pressure of now everybody's not standing behind you, they're standing in front of you, looking at you in the face while you're getting destroyed in TF2.
You're telling me I can heckle Fancy in real time and have a beer in my hand while doing so?
Yes.
poLAND might be peak. You guys should be here. And if you can't come now, within the next period of time, you should come next year for sure. Honestly, and if you can't come, you should donate.
Exactly.
Exactly as he says. I mean, yeah, helping us run this is awesome. We've got a great setup going on, and we love to keep, well, frankly, TF2 going, especially here in Europe, running these lines. We don't get as many as Americans, unfortunately. We've got a lot of different countries. I don't know if Americans understand what those are. But
No, I don't think they do.
we've got a lot going on more recently, obviously, with this and other tournaments going on. And it's really great to get together, to see everybody, and to see great TF2 as well. That's a really
Support
important
your
part.
scene. Support your local small esports scenes. If you have some sort of interest in this game, which if you do at this stage in your life, you're probably just like Stockholm syndromed into it because you started playing this game 14 years ago when you were a teenager. But support your local scene. Hashtag, no, not hashtag, sorry, exclamation mark donate.
Yep.
Help us out run more events like this. Help us out cover the costs of running this stuff and have some good times with it, I suppose. And have a good feeling, a fuzzy feeling of helping out.
Yeah, it's a really warm feeling. Also, help us afford more headsets, apparently.
True,
so we can have
true.
functioning headsets for our players.
Although we don't know how much of that is our fault.
No,
and how
I
much of that is-
actually think a rule of thumb is if there is a problem, blame players.
Exactly.
That's a-
Somebody
that's an old
probably
production secret, actually.
stepped on a cable or rolled over it with their chair, ripped out the plug of their PC or something, and that broke something, surely. These players are hooligans. They will break anything.
They certainly are. I mean, right. You said break. We're on a break right now while we're going through this pause. We would. Okay. We were going to a full break. I've now been told. If I'd known that in advance, what a segue would that have been? We're going to go for a short break as we get ready for this match to continue after this technical pause.
Would you look at that? The timer has ended, and it's actually for good reason. Because the gamers are ready to game again. The tech issue apparently, supposedly, allegedly has been solved. We'll see if that's true. We'll see if we're just getting baited and it's actually going to break again in 3 minutes' time. But I suppose for now, gamers are almost ready to start gaming again. It's stopping being a tournament, a talkament and a waitament, and it's going to become a tournament again, a playament.
Yeah, I mean, at least we hope. And play they've certainly been doing so far. I mean, if for those of you who were not kind of clocked in, Minion Samurai picked up that first round in pretty emphatic fashion, actually. A really nicely performed round. And then immediately we kind of saw MANDEM slap right on back, move up to 1-1, and then I think quite a dragged out one get up to the 2-1. And it's been interesting to see, right? Because we've seen a lot of players kind of aggressing forward, trying to go for a lot of those flanks, and I think it's something that can really work here in Gullywash, and I'm glad to see players and teams experimenting with it more.
Yeah, I'm also just happy to see Gullywash at all today because I think this is the first time we're actually seeing it on stream. I think this is like the 6th match, or the 7th match actually we're doing, not intentional, that we're actually doing today on stream, and I think 5 of them have been on Sunshine? Maybe
Really?
2 of
That
them on
many?
Process.
Damn.
It's been almost exclusively Sunshine and Process. I know that much. So, it's pretty nice to actually see something else for once, and I mean, out of all the maps we have, Gullywash is definitely the most unique one. And look at that. The game continues. Tech issues resolved. It's been 20 minutes. I'm sure these teams have almost forgotten what they were even doing. I wonder if the minions remember that Kritzkrieg. And I'm just going to assume that this pause means absolutely nothing. And it's just I don't know, somebody rejoining or something.
I don't know.
Surely.
I mean, Mac was already setting up that trap again. He's settling in for the long game. He's looking. This is how I carry my team. This is how I find my kill. I mean, he's even wearing the samurai helmet. He's waiting for that one slice that he needs to rend MANDEM in twain. As finally we get back into the swing of things, and yeah.
We'll have to see if that hypothetical crit that we were talking about 20 minutes ago is actually going to be something that's not just hypothetical, but that actually happens. I suppose we'll see, as Eon now has his crits ready. And they got to move quickly if they want to actually make use of it. June's going to have that Uber soon, and MANDEM are going to try to use that, knowing full well they don't have to really worry about, at least they're probably going to expect that Eon would have switched off. So unless these crits become an issue for them very soon, which they're not really in position to use, I think minions are very, very content just waiting this one out, maybe making them use that Uber, kiting it, and then cleaning up afterwards? It's an ambitious idea, I suppose, but for now, they gotta hold that big door. MANDEM still kinda gotta work for it. They can't just walk in for free, because if they don't find much of this Uber, they're in big trouble. Ah, there you go, there comes the crits. Oh my goodness! He actually finds what he needs to. He gets the drop onto June.
It's not the 4K crit sticky you're asking for, but it's it's a very valuable crit sticky to come through. June gets popped immediately, and unfortunately MANDEM are looking to deflate like a balloon, but they're looking for a chance to ping around the room and catch a medic. However, doesn't quite happen here for Ryan yet. He's continuing to put that pressure on, but getting rushed by his scout makes it very difficult to stay on target. Gets cleaned up eventually here, and Kekman and Samurai have bided their time. And it's looked pretty good for them.
They're still stuck on this crits though. That's the biggest issue with this. Even though they got a big pick onto June that allows them to get this far now, get into second, try and get into last. They're still stuck on that crit streak. Eon didn't pick up June's medigun. He's gonna have to make this crits push work. They're about to have again, but there's also a sentry to deal with. There's a lot of pressure that MANDEM are going to put onto this combo, and these crits are going to have to land again. If Mac can do it twice in a row, back-to-back crit stickies that land on anything, nah. Not a Samurai. It's an awkward angle. There's nobody to really aim at. It gets air blasted away as well. It's about to be expected, really. But and on the flip side as well, MANDEM, are you going to push out? Probably not. It's very ambitious if you want to, and I don't see them doing it necessarily. Plus, they're up around, so why not just wait this one out a little bit? Get a bit of time off that clock and favor you a little bit more. Maybe see what you can get here. But if things go awry in this water, I would not be surprised if they're just going to start backpedaling immediately. It's going to depend on what the minions do. If they catch somebody off guard, sure. If they're just going to get out of this and wait for the Uber to come their way, fair enough. Sylvs is going to be the sacrificial lamb left behind as a little treat for this Uber to pick up, and they're going to be like, all right, that's good enough. We're out of here.
I was a little bit confused about that one. I really thought they were going to save it and then catch something a little bit better, a little bit more consistent. But Aeon's still on that crit streak, still remaining on it. They're losing a lot of health on SNH, but doesn't go down just yet. The crits are pop, looking for a chance, wants to snipe away, but doesn't manage to tag anyone. Instead, they're the ones who fall. Ryan falls, yes, but so much is in the hands of MANDEM right now.
Yeah, Mac finds the best crit sticky of his career and immediately has to try 2 more times, and unfortunately he's just not in positions to get much leverage with it. But hey, I know, actually Eon didn't even die, so he's still going to be stuck on that crit streak. It's just falling apart. That's the problem with the crits. If you're not in a good position to switch off afterwards, you're kind of just stuck with that crit streak, and you're carrying that disadvantage now over and over again. And MANDEM noticed they're just going to play around it. They have a full Uber in store again. They don't have to even worry about the crits coming up. They're just going to be able to walk on into the second here, see what they can get away with. And SNH finds a crazy shot, which he didn't just yet. Guy's going to get cut off as well in the forward spawn. Ryan's on top of that, and now they're trying to get into last. At this point, you might just be better off cutting your losses altogether, but I think Eon's got that sunk cost fallacy. He still has a crits ready, and you might as well see maybe you can get something with a heavy after this Uber push potentially comes in, but MANDEM don't have to use just yet. They can get so much ground for free. They've already killed Mac. They've got both of the soldiers, well, down as well. The crits come out eventually, but they're all shiny. You can't kill anybody when they're invincible. Eventually they get on the point, and there you go. MANDEM make that around.
Yeah, I think MANDEM chose the better way to get crits, which is winning the round.
Yeah.
So really nicely done. I mean, the problem is, right, is when you're on crits, it's a 50-50. Sometimes you're the minion, sometimes you're the samurai, and unfortunately, all I thought about that one was, well, Kek. KMS not able to really find very much there off the back of those crits, and as you said, just kind of like sunk cost fallacy all the way down. Like, it was like disastrously bad. MANDEM are not going to let you get away with that. They're not a team who kind of let go of a lot of that pressure, and Fancy's already pounding players as they come on in right now. Ryan and Horns find massive work in gathering the space for the team. The soldiers looking so good for MANDEM right now. They
Look at the
lose
cleanup.
a player, but like maybe 2, that's like it.
The cleanup out of the scouts as well. Yeah, they find Zoe and Ryan, I guess, but it's a complete wipe out of the side of the minions, and MANDEM are looking like they're starting to run away with this a little bit. 3-1 up, make it a 4th one very soon, unless this last push goes disastrously wrong. They're probably looking down, maybe match point coming up. Fancy finding himself a little bit of danger here with a scout just in his face. Mac does clean up that kill, and he's actually just behind. Huge flank somehow just gets behind the entire enemy team and kills the entire combo almost single-handedly. It's Zoe and Ryan left as the flank that just spawned. Zoe hiding in a bush. Nobody spotted him just yet. He's gonna kill SNH for his troubles, but that's just a trade. And with Ryan, nice little shot there onto Sylvs, but surely he's gonna get cleaned up as well. And I mean, Fancy's respawning means that this is a nice bit of momentum for the minions.
I gotta say, man, I gotta stop talking up MANDEM. Every goddamn time I do, they just run it down. Horns gets sent up into the air, tries to come through. Does get the force here, but they're gonna try and use this to push into these players, and look who's far forward again. It's Fancy. This time he goes down just as before, and MANDEM are losing player after player here. They lose Boulder as well. This Med does make it out, but this is going to be a very piecemeal last hold right now for MANDEM, and I think they've got to be way more careful in their being.
Yeah, and it's not a huge ad or anything for June either, so they really have to work for this. That's a lot of frags coming their way, though. Flick, Sylvs, Eon all down. Eon crucially going down is a very, very bad thing for the minions here. Way too ambitious, way too overextended. It's SNH trying to just waltz on in there, maybe get something, but no leverage either, and that's the reset right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, Keck Minion Samurai were trying to do their best impression of the White Lotus, where they're like, yeah, let's just send a single player in to kill everybody randomly. And it worked, like, for a brief period there, but SNH can't get enough going. And instead, it's Ryan who gets that bomb, makes the magic happen, and MANDEM find an opportunity. Honestly, doing a great amount of work and a big change-up for this. I think Lardog's probably ate a little bit of unfair hate before, but Ryan is certainly an upgrade. This guy is really, really good and is delivering so much for the team.
Look at the
Jumps
damage
right
here.
on in, fancy. I love the aggression, man.
Beautiful. That's a decent Uber use. I mean, you get 2 players down, even though you're going to have a disat now. The minions are going to be working from behind on this one, even if they have the Uber. They're missing 2 crucial players to really try and make it work. And if MANDEM played as well, kited well enough, there's not going to be much that the minions can really do with this one. Flick's trying to catch Fancy here. That's a lot of damage, but crucially, Fancy gets around the corner, will not be dying, and that's an Uber completely wasted. They don't find anything. Now Eon's in a lot of trouble as well, as Ryan just bombs on across together with Haunts as well. Lots of damage. They find Sylvs immediately, and the counter Christian is just coming through, but not really finding anything from MANDEM. They're actually losing 3 players. June out of harm's way for now, but nobody to heal means that if anybody diverts their attention to that medic, there's big trouble afoot. With Zoe being the only one to maybe connect, and will reconnect with that beam, will keep the medic safe for now. But it's only Zoe and June, a couple of forward spawners as well coming to second here. But there's a bit of momentum in favor of the minions. They have positions. The Ubers are basically equalized again. And it does look like MANDEM want to fight this mid anyway. They're still trying to go for it. Fancy traded out for Bloke though, and it's looking like it's already going awry.
No, it really does. I mean, just constantly finding picks, I feel, onto Fancy, but it's fine for MANDEM at this very moment. The problem is kind of what comes later. Is there going to be that re-push? I think enough spam is coming, so it's not happening. But we've seen a lot of picks come onto Fancy, I think, in the last couple of moments. Now he's talking about SNH, pushing forward, being aggressive. There's being a lot of scouts right in front of Fancy, and he's taking a lot of goddamn damage. He needs to be way more careful.
Yeah.
And I think look, MANDEM are in control of this game. They're 3-1 up, but if they keep on doing this, I feel, against especially some of the better teams, like, for example, White Lotus, they are going to lose games.
Yeah, they need to be a lot more careful. They are playing a lot around this one big man type of strategy, with just trying to tank up Fancy, let him do a lot of work. He does a lot of damage when he's given the chance, but if you cut off that head, suddenly you're looking pretty shaky. That being said, Boulder's just going to cut off a couple of heads with Sylvs and SNH going down. There's a lot of leverage here for MANDEM to just get into the second point and actually get the force out of Eon as well. He's just going to have to try and keep his team alive as best he can. Mac might just pay with his life. Now he's going to backspawn, manage to somehow get out of that. But that's a second taken for the side of MANDEM, and a full Uber they can carry into last as well. It's looking like they might just finally get that 4th round on the board, make it a 4-1. There's still chances for them to lose this last push, mind you, but the things are very much stacked against the minions right now.
They are Uber advantage right now for MANDEM. They're just going to send this one through, most likely. They use it immediately. Go for the push.
It's a beautiful one straight away. Kept them all trapped into spawn. Sentry takes a while to get down, and they don't find any frags just yet as the Uber is faded, but they find Mac under the point, and that's the most crucial pick you can possibly get when trying to push this point. There goes Sylvs as well. Lots of cap time already being put down as well. Pyro trying his damnedest to keep these players off, but can't do it for long. It's still being traded out either side though. SNH trying so hard. And now it's just a medic left with Mac spawning. Will Mac be enough? No, he won't. Unfortunately, that is a 4th round for the side of MANDEM. And with 5 minutes left on the clock, it's looking like this might just be a 1 map for the side of MANDEM at this point.
It's kind of sad to me that Keck Minion Samurai are not the team to get a kill with the Huffed Satoichi. I feel like that's
unfortunate.
That's a failure on their part. Yeah, the kill comes through for Fancy. He picks up the round. And MANDEM, they're really in control of this game. 4-1 up, another mid that's coming their way, and they've been really successful in a lot of these mids. A couple of slips, yes, but overall, So much pressure coming out, especially from their soldiers. Really big stuff that comes.
Let's see if they get away with it again. The big door play out of the minions this time around. We'll see how that affects the economy as Sills goes down immediately. Flick does get across. They do manage to kill Ryan, but that's it. They've lost Bloke as well, and so now no soldiers at all for our Samurais. And that's just the rest of the team falling. Mac trying his damnedest to somehow hold off this entire team, just chasing down, well, him, and also Eon, who's already well out of harm's way. And it's just looking like another round that MANDEM want to convert at this rate. At least Eon lives. They have an Uber to try and defend this with, but realistically, at this point, if you're the minions, you probably just want to get this over with. You know, you could try to stall out for 4 more minutes. You're not winning the map anyway. You're just trying to grief, if anything, and it might just be an Uber exchange onto second instead, actually. I say exchange. They kill Fancy with it. They don't really get much pressure onto June at all. The Uber eventually fades, and look at this low ground that they find themselves in. Eventually, this is just going to be a free Uber for the MANDEM, and look at that. They're just going to go straight into last with it, as there's a bit of a back cap. I guess you could call it back cap on second, but look at the cap time on last. There you go. It's 5-1, and MANDEM win this matchup eventually with the minions taking home a pitiful 1 round, although it was the first one.
It was.
Which matters more?
It was a rocky start, I think, really, for MANDEM. And we saw them, I think, kind of recovering from some of the, over depletion that happened over in their game against White Lotus. And I think they found their footing again, reminded themselves, actually, we are big dogs. We can do this. And I really like to see it. Again, seeing MANDEM in good form is great. Always makes me happy. And I think with with kind of maybe clearing up some of these positioning issues, they're going to look really formidable, and I think especially I'm really looking forward to a potential rematch versus White Lotus because it's looking fun. It looked really fun. It was really good.
Yeah, I think they're gonna keep improving over the course of the tournament, and they're going to have a good chance of making it much further. This is something they needed. Gives them a little bit more momentum and leverage again, headed into the last couple of matches of the day. But we'll let the guys on the couch talk about it. I'm sure they all watched this game intently and definitely didn't just fall asleep during the tech pause or anything like that. Anyway, take it away, smart guys on the couch.
I'm smart. I'm so smart. I'm Tabs. I'm joined with smart man Domaytoe, and Connor's here. But yes, welcome to the analytical couch, guys. We're going to keep this brief as we had a technical pause during all that. Wasted a lot of time, so. Let's just go into the swing of things. Domaytoe, why?
Because we burned through 3 or 4 headsets. Apparently there was some troubleshooting, but it is LAN after all. Just to quickly dissect, just really, really quickly, I mean, it was a game of 2 halves, you could say. They had us in the first half, well, the Samurais, but then 20 minutes of technical difficulties. And after that, it was a bit of a wash, wasn't it, in the end?
Connor, it was 5-1. Why?
Bill was doing bits. Simple as that. Bill's turning up. I've said it once, I've said it again. He's the best player in the world, honestly. And he's, there's not much more to say than that. If tech difficulty can't stop them, who can?
Production, we don't have logs on the screen yet. Why? I'm sure we'll get them soon. But 1 more minute. Okay, so we'll kill 1 more minute for production. So, Domaytoe, technical pauses, technical things happening at LAN. Why?
That's quite an abstract question, especially for someone who is a bit more of a social science guy. Do you study anything with that? The problem is you don't need a major to see that if people are involved and if things go awry. But we basically had a headset issue there. June had difficulties with hearing certain players. Albeit I'd say you don't really have difficulties with hearing microphone working. You don't listen to your medic anyway. I don't know why that should be an issue, honestly. But I mean, Fancy can make up for that. You gotta pay the bills.
Condawg, obviously this is going to play into their little tables at all, or does it not really affect the grand things? The team's distraught by this, and if they're not, why?
I mean, honestly, what I'm going to focus on MANDEM. Right? And they started complimenting each other, Turbo. They weren't bickering as much this game. Boulder was starting to say things like, nice, amazing. And that's what we want, positivity in the room.
To other gamers or to himself?
Both.
Yeah, that's the stuff, That's how you lead a team onwards. You have to give positive vibes and criticism. Guys, you're letting me down, but I'm playing really good. No, that's not Boulder, by the way. For everyone, like that's just a meme. Like Boulder, focus, and you got to keep the vibes up. I also always say it's like Ryan is not one to tilt. Zoe also sort of, getting it. Really?
Yeah, Zoe's a tower.
All right, I'm going to slowly turn to production, see if they give a thumbs up about
See
logs.
even
If not,
TurboTaps
we'll
is
just
slowly
go
tilting.
away.
His head to the right side.
Okay, we're going to our next match after a short break. No logs for you.
Fingers crossed.
Bye-bye.